So we are welcoming the last speaker of this first session, which is Mykola Bevz, who is a professor and head of architecture and the conservation department at the Lviv Polytechnic National University, and also a member of ECOMOS, the national committee in Ukraine. Yeah, we adjust the microphone to the right height, and Mykola will speak about the architectural and urban residential complexes of the 1960s and 1970s in Ukraine. Please.
Thank you for promotion, my simple person. Dear Professor Paul Giza and dear ladies and gentlemen, my topic is directed for the understanding the residential complexes from 60s and 70s as architectural monuments. Next, please. The main difference between the Ukraine and Ukrainian and such objects in Germany and Poland lie in the quality of urban and architectural solutions. It is important to consider the aspect of the massiveness of such areas. Even in well-known historical cities such as Lviv, for example, areas with such development occupy more than half of the city's territory. The massiveness and the uniform way of building, with typical buildings and typical apartments, make the areas mundane in the architectural aspects. Next, please. Ukrainian law is directing the creating for every historical city so-called historical and urban and architectural basic plan, and this documentation is oriented for preparing for analyzing the all objects in the city, and after the preparing the proposition about the zoning, protection zoning, and about the including new objects for the register, for the state register. But our analysis and our experience work in the council near the Ministry of Culture shows that we have not proposition including these objects for state register. Why? Ukrainian law allows include the objects with age more than 50 years for the register, but this movement is absent today. So we have more than 400 historical cities, but the cities are without this type of next, please. Without objects. But next, please. You know about the very interesting and very important project from new European Bauhaus about the circular housing in Ukraine. Please, next. And this analysis included in this project shows the percent of the time of Khrushchev and Brezhnev, so it from 60s and from 70s, which can be included to the process of rebuilding, of modernization of this object. So the summarized is near the 50% of the housing buildings in Ukraine will be covering of this process. Next, please. Examples of the objects from the Khrushchev time, 60s years. Next, please. And 70s years, examples of the typical objects. Next, please. If we start the process of inscribing the object to the register, we must prepare the so-called passport of the architectural monument. And we have in the Ukrainian law listed the special position oriented to the object. And if we try elect the value of the object, so we can see that only one position, urban planning, and with typical solution is working in this process. So if we are ready to move this process of the including such objects to the register, we must change the law. We must looking for the new methodological basis for inscribing and registering such objects. I am saying about the housing buildings, but of course we can very interesting architectural objects in other fields, as public objects, cinemas, or other. Please, next. And very important point of today's situation in Ukraine is that in the east of Ukraine, the part of such cities with such objects are completely demolished. So, on my opinion, our next move, it will be conservation of the maybe the part of this object as an architectural monument in demolished condition. Please, next. And examples of the very interesting architecture of public objects included in the areas with architecture of 70s years. Please, next. So we have preparing with helping of Parliament of Ukraine the change into the law in the field of comprehensive reconstruction of quarters, micro districts of outdated housing stock, preparing in 2022, and this law is very important because most of the residential objects designed as a typical scheme after 30 or 40 years will be in very bad technical conditions. So this law is preparing the wide movement for transformation of the districts in every city for modernization, for adding the wings, for transforming of elevation and other. Next, please. It is the number of houses will be included in this process. Please, next. And very interesting survey about the disadvantages of the current situation is in quarters, house and apartments in Lviv. So we can see that not only bad technical conditions is in opinions of the citizens, but monotony of buildings, poor conditions of the spaces, roads and other, so it is elements of the transforming process. Please next. And very important point from my side about the next step of our work in the demolished cities, because example of Bakhmut, it is very famous town in Ukraine, was demolished during last year by Russian army, and you can see the historical plan. The city was founded in 16th century. A city founded as on the principles of Magdeburg law. So it was a city with castle, with market square, with special organizing of the territory, and this city was cleaning in the Soviet time, creating new monuments, new structure. So if we will rebuild this city, the orientation for the historical plan is more important, because this orientation is connected with identity, with Ukrainian identity, and the creating a new modern city must be based on this topic. Thank you very much.